Alright, so now that we've talked about data types, let's look at what we can do with them. So we've already briefly mentioned that you can do math with Python, right? And you can, but there's a couple things to note. So let's just launch Terminal. We're just going to go into interactive mode because it's easy. So we'll go into Python, and let's do some math. So 5 plus 5 is 10. That's obvious. 5 minus 5, 0. So a lot of these are going to be what you expect. 5 times 5, 25. 5 divided by 5, 1, right? Pretty easy, pretty simple, right? Let's change this a little bit. What if we do 9 plus 2? Easy. 9 minus 2, right? So once again, no real surprises, right? And 9 divided by 2. Now, hang on a minute there. So 9 divided by 2 equals 4. And so this might not be what you expect. Now keep in mind, we're using integers here. And we've talked about integers and we've talked about floats. You say 9 divided by 2, and you ask someone what the answer is, they're probably not going to tell you 4. They're probably going to tell you 4.5, right? For Python to tell you 4.5, we need to actually divide with floats. When we talked about Java, we talked about how Java is very strict and doesn't let you mix types. Python, however, will let you mix types, and you can see here how that can change the answer. If we use a float anywhere in this division, it's going to give us a float as the answer. Without any floats, it just drops off that extra bit. Now, something else, not only do we have the plus, minus, multiplication, and division, we also have that thing, a percentage sign. And what does that do? So if we press enter, it gives us a 1. If we do 10% sign 2, that gives us a 0. Strange. If we do 9% sign 3, we get a 0. If we do 9% sign 4, we get a 1. So what is this? What is the pattern? There is a pattern. If we do 9 divided by 2, we get 4. But if we do 4 times 2 to check the work, I mean, obviously we know it's wrong, but if we just do 4 times 2 just to prove it, we get 8, right? So what is it off by? It is off by 1. So what's the percent sign do? Let's look at this again. If we do 21 divided by 7, we get 3. If we do 14 divided by 7, we get 2. But if we do 20 divided by 7, we also get 2. If we do 14% sign 7, we get 0. If we do 21% sign 7, we get 0. If we do 20% sign 7, we get 6. 20 divided by 7 is 2, and 2 times 7 is 2 times 7 is 14, and 20 minus 14 is 6. 6 and 6. So this percent sign finds the remainder of this value divided by that value. It feels kind of complicated. It's really not, but it feels kind of complicated. You'll get used to it. The more that you use it and the more that you play with it and the more that you see it, you'll get used to it and it'll feel less weird. Alright, so moving right along, what happens if we do 2 plus 3 minus 1? So 2 plus 3 is 5, minus 1, 4. What happens if we do 2 times 3 minus 1? So 2 times 3 is 6, minus 1. Now what if we do 2 minus 3 times 2? So negative 4. Now, is that what you were expecting? If you're thinking mathematically, then yes. But if you're thinking this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this, then you might not. You might have thought, well, 2 minus 3 is -1, times the 2 is -2, and then we get this -4. You have to keep in mind the order of operations that we use mathematically, and programming does the same thing. It's going to do parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, etc. in the proper mathematical order. Not necessarily the order you put it here, but the proper mathematical order. So if we had wanted to do it that way, we would have needed to do 2 minus 3 times 2. And now we get the -2. Now, granted, this is all pretty basic, but it's stuff that you need to be aware of, because when you start writing more complex programs and you're using math in the program, if you make a mistake like this and you don't realize it, and you've got some complex program running and it's spitting out a value that you're not expecting, you might have something weird in there, but it might be just a simple mistake in order of operations, or misunderstanding some of the symbols or what they might do. Now, the other one that we didn't mention yet was exponents. So how to do exponents. Personally, I've always liked the idea of representing exponents as a caret to represent the superscript, but Python doesn't do that. That's not how it works in Python. For an exponent in Python, we just use the multiplication symbol twice, or the star twice. So like 2 star star, what, 8? 256. So that's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, etc. Or 4 star star 3. That one's a little bit easier to calculate. So 64. So 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 again. There you go. And once again, of course, it's going to do this in the proper mathematical order. So if we do 3 minus 3 to the 4th, it's going to calculate 3 to the 4th first, and then subtract that answer from this first value here. And so there you go, basic operators and how Python behaves.